guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys a full day of easy meals. This is how I ate to lose 70 pounds, and this is how I've been able to keep it off for several years now. At the end of this video, I'm going to be answering all of your guys' questions off of Instagram. The other day, I asked you guys on Instagram to send me all of your questions surrounding plant-based weight loss. So you guys sent me tons and tons and tons of messages, which is really fun for me to go through. So I went through them all and pulled out the most commonly asked questions. So I will be doing that for you guys today. Remember, you guys can follow me on Instagram. That is where I actually post the most content. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm posting constantly there. I'm constantly posting new recipes, new reels. And if you want to see more of my daily life or my mountain living or travels or adventures, it is all on Instagram. So make sure you follow me there as well. And as always, if you are looking for links, make sure you take a look at the description box because I put links there for the things you guys ask me the most about. The supplements I take are in there, the jewelry that I wear is there, as well as some of the beauty products that I use, and any books or products or anything in this video that I think you guys may want access to. My new website will be up hopefully in another month or so, and it's completely revamped with a lot more resources. It's going to be a lot more user-friendly, and I have started blogging, which I am really excited about. I did get a lot of messages about my jewelry this week on Instagram, so again, I will link it for you guys. All of my necklaces and earrings are by Miranda Fry. It's really high quality, amazing jewelry. I'm kind of obsessed with it, so I will put a link there for my favorite items. It'll take you to like Kiki's favorite items, and you can look at the stuff that you see me wearing frequently, and then you can search the rest of the site as well. And I'll also put the discount code for you guys in the description box that'll give you 10% off and free shipping. So, all right, so food. I'm gonna show you guys super simple meals. Again, this is how I ate to lose 70 pounds, and this is how I've been able to keep it off. I ate a high carb, low fat, plant-based diet. It's what I found to be the most sustainable. I didn't count a single calorie during weight loss, and my only exercise was walking. Now I do exercise more. I do a lot of weightlifting. I will talk about that with you guys later in this video. So let's check out the food. Okay, so for my veggies this morning, I have steamed a little bit of kale, and it's not overly steamed, just lightly steamed. So I'm gonna put some on my plate here. Then I'm gonna take my orange here, and I'm just gonna slice it in half. And then I have like this spoon that's for grapefruits. It helps you get like these sections out, has these little teeth on it. So I'm just gonna get the little orange sections out and put it on my kale. And then once I have all the sections out that I want, I just squeeze the orange juice over the kale, and it makes this really bright, delicious breakfast salad. So now I'm going to take my bowl here, and I am going to fill it with some cooked quinoa. Sometimes it's nice just to switch up the grains. I generally love oatmeal for breakfast, but I've actually really been liking quinoa lately. To the quinoa, I'm just gonna add this banana. I'm gonna slice it up. And then I'm gonna grab some strawberries, and I'm gonna slice those up and throw them in as well. And then I'm just gonna add a little splash of almond milk. I like this almond milk because it's low in calories and low in fat. And then I totally forgot to show you guys that you can add a little vanilla extract and a little ground cinnamon as well, and that really takes up the flavor a bunch. And there you have it. I also like to add a few teaspoons of ground flaxseed. You don't have to do this, but I like getting the health benefits of flaxseed. Okay, so for the salad, I'm just gonna grab this big, beautiful bowl I have, and then I'm gonna add some greens. You can add whatever greens you like. My favorite are the kind that already come washed and ready to use. Then I'm gonna add some steamed potato to the salad, and it's already been cooked. I cook up a bunch of potatoes at the beginning of the week. That way they're ready to use in recipes whenever I need them. Now I'm just gonna add some chickpeas. I am really trying to make sure I have some legumes every day for added protein since I'm weightlifting more these days. They're so full of nutrients and fiber and energy. And then I'm gonna add some sliced cucumber. Now I'm gonna add some chopped mango, which is my absolute favorite fruit. And then a little red onion. And then lastly, a little chopped cilantro. You can of course leave this out if you don't like cilantro. All right, so now I'm gonna show you guys how to make the cilantro curry dressing. Again, if you don't like cilantro, you can use parsley, or basil is really good in this. So I'm gonna start by taking some of this Dijon mustard, and I'm just gonna put equal parts Dijon mustard and maple syrup in this dish, and I will link all of these recipes for you guys below. So after I add the Dijon mustard, then I'm gonna add equal parts maple syrup. Then I'm gonna add some lime juice. And some chopped cilantro. And then some yellow curry powder. And I'm gonna mix that all up, and it turns into this creamy, delicious, super flavorful dressing. All right, so for dinner, I already have my broccoli nice and steamed up, so I'm just gonna set that aside. So now I'm just gonna show you guys how I put together this creamy, cheesy poblano rice casserole. It's super easy, so I'm just gonna take some steamed brown rice. Yes, I'm trying to be an adult and eat more brown rice, even though I really love white rice. And then I'm just gonna add some of these roasted poblano peppers that I chopped up, and I just roasted them in my air fryer. It's a super easy way of roasting them. You can also just add these chopped green chilies if you want. It doesn't quite have the same flavor, but it still does really well. I'm gonna add a little chopped cilantro, a little squeeze of lime, and then I'm gonna add the creamy poblano cheese sauce. This stuff is so good. I've got it linked in the description box for you guys so you can check it out. And that is it, guys. I just mix it up and I enjoy it. This is really easy. You can make this ahead of time and then have all of this for leftovers the rest of the week. It's really great to have on hand. And I'm actually gonna pour some of that poblano cheese sauce on to my broccoli, and you can make this with no cashews. If you are trying to go fat-free, you can just leave the cashews out and reduce the amount of water, but it is absolutely delicious. All right, it is Q&A time. I actually really love doing these Q&As. It was really fun to ask you guys and then see all of the questions. So I went through hundreds of messages, you guys, and I wrote down the most commonly asked ones. So what I'm going to try to do is give you guys a timestamp in the description box below so you can read through what questions I'm answering and see what time it's at if you want to just skip to those specific questions so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. It's up to you. Okay, question number 1. Do you typically eat the fat-free cheese sauce version of your cheese sauce, or do you eat the one with cashews? So typically I will eat the fat-free one because I like to eat my ranch dressing and my Thousand Island dressing, and those both have cashews in them, so I have to make a cut somewhere. And I actually really like the cheese sauce without the nuts in it, so I typically eat the cheese sauce without the nuts. So number 2, how do you know you are actually hungry? So this is the rule that I went through, and I actually heard Dr. Neil Barnard say this a lot, and I heard Dr. Doug Lisle say this. If you don't think that an apple sounds good, or that a bowl of brown rice sounds good, then you're probably not really hungry. Because in the beginning, when I was trying to get off of snack food, I was just like thinking about snacks all the time. Like I loved, crunchy, salty. I loved tortilla chips, potato chips, all that stuff. So I always felt kind of snacky and wanting something. And once I heard those doctors say to ask yourself, does an apple sound good? Does a bowl of brown rice sound good? No, then I'm probably not really hungry. And so I would just kind of wait until, man, an apple does sound good, or some brown rice does sound good. And then I would know, like, it's time to eat, because I was so used to just like eating when I wasn't hungry, just eating what sounded good, that I had kind of lost touch with my own ability to listen to my body. But it comes back quickly. So I would just ask yourself, okay, if I am not hungry enough for an apple or some brown rice, then I'm probably okay to wait a little bit longer. Okay, so number 3, do you suggest weight loss first before strength training? No. So if you want to start strength training, that is a wonderful form of exercise to do during weight loss. But if you're asking me if you can put on muscle while you're losing weight, then the answer is no, because you're losing weight because you're in a calorie deficit, and you can't build muscle on a calorie deficit. However, strength training is going to burn calories. It's going to increase your metabolism. It's going to be really good physical activity for you during weight loss. So if you're interested in weight training during weight loss, I would do it. It helps get you in the routine. It helps build good habits. That way, when you're done losing weight, then you can focus on really increasing the weight you're lifting and building muscle. Okay, so the next question says, I saw you recently post in your stories on Instagram that you've been working on body recomposition. You look incredible. Thank you. I can really see the difference in your body and how much muscle you've put on and how much fat you have shredded. Have you changed the way that you're eating to do this? Okay, so yes. So I basically focused on losing weight for so long that I have been done losing weight and I've been maintaining, but I still wanted to look more fit, more toned, more athletic. So I started the process of body recomposition, and that's basically just where you build more muscle and your body shreds fat and builds more muscle and changes the overall composition of your body. So over the last 6 months, I've been working really diligently, lifting heavy weights. And in about 6 months, I have been able to see a lot of significant change. And as far as my diet goes, I actually did not change my diet until recently. So I haven't focused on eating more, definitely not eating less, because you can't gain muscle in a deficit. But what I have changed is my focus on beans and legumes. I don't take any protein powders because I don't want to do that. There's a lot of controversy on like whether it's good or bad for you and your kidneys. So instead of, every meal being focused around potatoes, I started focusing my meals around beans, lentils, other legumes, just to get a little boost in protein. But again, that's only been recently. That's only been in like the last 2 months. So really the last 4 months, I just ate the same way. I just made sure to listen to my body. There's days where I would feel more hungry, so I would eat more. Okay, next question. How do you stop wanting sweets the day after dessert? So that one's desserts are such a slippery slope, but who can live without desserts? I can't live without dessert. So I think just being in the right headspace is going to be the most helpful. If you decide, okay, you know what? Friday nights are when I don't have, if you have fruit for dessert all week long, but you want Friday or Saturday to feel a little bit more special. So you decide, okay, I'm gonna make chocolate lava cake, which is usually like my go-to. Is I'll make the lava cake, and the recipe is on my website. Then I just know next day I'll go back to fruit. And yeah, it can be a struggle. So what I would do is, if you're really struggling, I hate to tell you to stop having dessert altogether, because I feel like it wouldn't be balanced for me. So what I would do if I was struggling, I would still in my head decide Fridays are for chocolate lava cake. I would make it, I would enjoy it, and then Saturday I would have chopped up berries and maybe make some, vegan chocolate pudding, and have berries with a little chocolate pudding, or I'd have berries with like chocolate sprinkles or a little bit of chocolate chips, and then kind of like phase down from there and go back to normal on Sunday. And then that way you just kind of stepped down from like chocolate lava cake to pudding and fruit, and then back to fruit. And I have sprinkles on my fruit every night. So that's how I do it. Okay, this person asked if I struggle with cravings. I don't struggle with cravings. I mean, I crave food. If I get really hungry, then yeah, I start craving like spaghetti and garlic bread or whatever. But do I crave the junk foods that I used to eat before I went plant-based? I don't. But I craved them for a long time. It was like a hard 6 months of still dealing with cravings. And the way I dealt with them was just reminding myself, like every time I'd crave something, that those weren't real foods that were going to be beneficial to my health or to my goals. So I just kept, doing that. And then I was always prepared. I always had fresh fruit available, like whole grain toast or something that I could grab, because you have to be prepared. Otherwise, when cravings hit, they can really come with an emotional punch. If you're not ready to take that punch, then you're going to go down. So be prepared, and then decide what you're going to tell yourself when cravings hit. And I decided ahead of time that when cravings hit for me, that I was going to remind myself that I didn't want to stay in the place that I had been for years, and that I needed to take care of my body and of my health. So that really helped me. And it just takes time and practice. Okay, so this person asked, should I eat if I'm not hungry, or is it okay to skip meals? So through all of the years of dieting, I heard everything from, it's good to skip breakfast, it's bad to skip breakfast. You should eat every 2 to 3 hours. You shouldn't have 3 big meals a day. You should have 6 small meals a day. And when I came to a plant-based diet, I didn't know what to think or do with any of that anymore, because none of it had worked long-term for me. So I just remember hearing Dr. McDougall say, eat if you're hungry, and if you're not, don't. Like, it's not a big deal if you wake up and you're just not into breakfast. Have your next meal when you're hungry. So is it okay to skip meals? I have found personally that, yeah, it's totally fine. Doesn't happen often for me personally, but yeah, I mean, my husband a lot of times doesn't feel hungry for one meal sometimes, and he'll skip it, and he lost weight, no problem. I always eat right before I go to bed, and I had no problem losing weight. So don't eat if you're not hungry. Listen to your body. If you don't feel like eating, don't feed it. All right, do you eat soy or tofu, and did you do it during weight loss? So, I feel like it's bad being a plant-based person and saying this, but I don't like tofu. So I don't eat tofu because I don't like tofu. My family loves tofu and they have it regularly. I didn't stay away from it for any other reason other than I don't care for it. I know Dr. McDougall does recommend, if you are having trouble losing weight and you're eating a lot of tofu, to cut back because it is more calorie dense and higher in fat. But if you're having a little bit here and there, I don't think it will impact your weight loss. As far as soy, I use soy sauce and I use soy milk. I love soy milk for my dressing recipes and to put in soup because it is like the thickest, creamiest milk. And when you're diluting it in soup or diluting it in a dressing that you're only having a little bit of, it really is not, in my experience, going to impact your weight loss. Okay, so I hear this a lot. So this person said, I'm uncomfortable with the idea of not counting calories. Can I still do this lifestyle and count calories? Absolutely. I didn't count calories because I came from so many years of dieting and counting calories that I just could not do it anymore. I promised myself I would never do it again. However, if counting calories brings you comfort and helps you to really know and gauge where you're at, then count your calories. And absolutely you can do it with eating this way. And if anything, you're going to be able to see how much more you can eat for the same amount of calories on a traditional diet. You're going to be able to eat so much more plant-based food than you were on a traditional diet. So absolutely, if you feel more comfortable, knowing where your calories are at and tracking that, go for it. I love these questions. Do you ever eat junk food? Never. Of course I do. Of course I eat junk food. I don't eat it often and I don't eat a lot because it's a slippery slope and I tend to gain weight easily. So my husband can tolerate a lot more junk food than I can. So I just stick to a cleaner diet for the most part. But the maple vegan donuts from Whole Foods, I love a little vegan cheese here and there. And, occasionally I'll have like a small bag of like potato chips. But really, for me, like junk food, I still try to clean up. So like having a chocolate lava cake, I'll make my version because it doesn't have oil in it, but it's higher in calories and has sugar and has chocolate, and I am absolutely okay with that. So for me, it's about balance. I know that I can't live a life completely free of sugar and a little oil here and there, and yeah. So the vegan maple donuts from Whole Foods though, like if you're gonna have one, don't buy the 6-pack because you won't stop at one. I know this from experience. So buy one and then split it with somebody. Okay, this is probably the most popular question submitted, and it is, how do you move through a plateau? So plateaus can be extremely frustrating. So the first thing that I would do when I came to a plateau is I would take a look at my diet and evaluate, okay, what are the higher calorie dense foods and how can I rearrange my food choices to allow me to continue to eat the same volume of food but for less calories. So number one, I needed to cut out the more refined foods because they don't have the bulk that fills you up and they're higher in calories and they're processed. So when I hit my first plateau, I realized, okay, I needed to cut back on the bread and crackers. I needed to cut back on the cereal. And what else was I having? I was having a lot of candy, vegan candy. So I did that and it was like magic. I started moving forward again. I started losing weight every week again. And then I hit another plateau. The next plateau was a little trickier because I'd already cut out like all the refined food that I was eating. So I really had to go back and reread Dr. McDougall's book for maximum weight loss. And there he talked about diluting your calories with more vegetables. And that's where the 50-50 plate comes in. And so the 50-50 plate allowed me to continue to eat the same volume of food for less calories because now you're eating a ton of non-starchy vegetables that have like very little calories and you're filling up on those, and then eating your more calorie dense side of your plate, but you're not overeating them because you've eaten so much vegetables. And so once I incorporated that and was consistent with that, then I just coasted until I am the weight that I am today. So all that to say, evaluate what you're taking in, what is refined, what is higher in fat, and are you using the 50-50 plate? Now, if all those things look really good, if you've watched my other videos where I've showed you what eating low fat looks like, what eating according to calorie density looks like, and you're doing all of that and you're still not losing weight, it can have a lot to do with you're actually a lot closer to your ideal weight than you maybe are happy with. Weight ranges are huge. A healthy weight range can be 20 to 30 pounds. A healthy weight range for me is anywhere between like 112 pounds and 140. I'm not personally comfortable at 140 pounds at 5'3" and 3/4. I, am much more comfortable at around 120 pounds. So I was able to manipulate calories with eating more non-starchy vegetables. So just keep in mind, the closer you get to a healthy weight range, the harder it's going to be to lose weight for some people. So if you're doing the 50-50 plate, you're not eating refined foods, you're eating low fat, you can further dilute calories by starting your meal with a nice fat-free vegetable soup or salad and then move to your 50-50 plate. Or you can simply track your calories in a free app like Chronometer. Is it Chronometer? I don't even know. Chronometer or Chronometer. You can track your calories in there for free and see how much you're actually taking in. It'll help you see where you can cut calories to maintain a deficit to keep going. But I always caution people with, don't drive yourself crazy just to be a little bit thinner. All right, guys, so that is it for me today. I really enjoyed doing the Q&A. I loved looking through all the questions that you guys had. We can definitely do it again if this is something that you enjoyed. So yeah, let me know. Remember to keep this journey about health and not just about the skinny. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.